This is Divine Relationships 2. They made me do 2 because they said number 1 did so good. People wanted to know a little bit more. So this is Divine Relationship 2. We're going to talk about love, falling into it or falling out of it or letting it slam into you. I'll be right back.
You can do it. Don't stop. Ed Montgomery. Come on. A new way of thinking. Transform your mind. Straight from the vine. Fresh new wine.
Okay. I was drinking. Hello, I'm Ed Montgomery, aka Dr. Ed, and I'm your host of Fresh New Wine and also the host of Sensational Sunday. I was drinking this water and it went down the wrong pipe. Okay. Let me get it out, cough it out. Okay. And I started talking while the water was going down. So it went, what they say, Grandmama said it went down the wrong pipe. Okay. Okay, make sure you hit that like button and also make sure you hit that share button. Share this, share Divine Relationship 2 with other people because they're going to know what you're talking about. And also share Divine Relationship 2. That's my subject tonight. Today, whenever this drops, I'm trying to drop these earlier than I normally do so you'll have a chance to really look at them. And send it to other people. Also drop in your comments. Let me know where you're watching this from. If you're not in the Houston area, what city are you in Texas? If you're not in Texas, what state are you in? If you're not in the United States, what country are you watching from? Because we're branching out and we're talking to other people in other countries, and there's a particular way that we are doing this. So I'm working with, in some cases, I'm working with a translator that has the ability to translate consciousness or the consciousness of the speaker to understand how that particular speaker is seeing the world. So it's not just translating the words, but also the spirit. It's an interesting thing. We're working on it. Divine relationship. I said one of the first thing that we're looking for in divine relationship is to be able to open up your eyes, open up your ears, and to open up your mind to new things, to see not just with the physical ear. I mean, to see not just with the physical eye or to hear with the physical ear, but to be able to hear with the spiritual ear or the inner ear or a consciousness hearing, to be able to see with a spiritual eye, an inner eye. You know, don't look at people all the time strictly through a physical lens. You know, do they have the muscles that you want? Do they have the look that you want? We don't know. You might be looking there, but you're saying, "Oh my God, oh no, they don't look like who I want." But then you might wind up sitting next to them, and they engage you in a conversation, and the more you talk, watch this, the better they look. Isn't that a trip? The more they talk, the better they look. And so you will engage with them differently. And after a while, you're not even thinking about how that person looks. Wow. So you got to open up your spiritual eye. Open up your spiritual ears. That was number 1. Also, number 2, we said that people could come to you, into your life, from so many different ways. So many different understandings. And this is where we left, I think, on number 3, that you have to open up your understanding, open up your thought process, open up all of these things to be and say that People, it's not just what a person's race is or what a person's color is or what a person's background is. I'm watching as this government right here in the United States is putting wedges between so many different people, so many different races, so many different colors of people. People are wondering, can I even go down, sit down and have coffee with somebody from another background or from another race? Well, one of the things we're going to have to understand, you better learn to be able to have relationships with other people from other races, or the country is not going to be able to continue. This is what happened right back there in the 17th century, in the 1600s. Most people don't realize that's how racism began. It began by people telling white people who were working with black people, those who were enslaved and had been brought from Africa, as well as indentured servants that had been brought out of Ireland and other parts of of Europe, and also the indigenous people that were already in this country. They began to say, well, here are the laws for you and the laws for them. Separate laws for black, separate laws for white. And if white people start connecting with black people, it's going to be twice as bad on you. And you have to understand, because you are better than they are. So white supremacy, the concept of white supremacy, began to move in America. And it has continued on, and it has moved into a perfect storm and collided with the consciousness of this country. And it is hard to get out of America. I don't think they will ever get it out of America. It has to be overcome. So that's what divine connections are: the ability to get beyond how we see the prejudices, the prejudging of people, and all of these different things. Now, I think if we were to deal with anything, one of the third things, or I think this would be the fourth one. I hit on it as the third one last week, but the fourth one is to listen, not talk so much. Fourth, I would say, I don't want to be rude and say, shut up and listen. But I would say this: shut up and listen. Always shut up and listen. Don't be afraid to ask questions. But once you ask questions, listen to what the person says to you and be interested in what they are saying. And if there was an old interviewer that used to come on, I believe it was CNN, his name was Larry King. And what Larry King would do, he would go on an would interview all of these big name people and celebrities and government celebrities and everything. And Larry King didn't even know, he knew them and didn't do any background on them, by read too much about them, but he would talk to them. And through his conversation, he would learn so much about them, because he learned how to listen and how to springboard from what they were saying. One of the most powerful ways to interview someone is, don't take your note cards and say, well, I'm going to ask you, where did you come from? Okay. And they tell you, well, I came from a little town in Georgia. And then you stop and says, now, where did you go to school? Well, I went to school in this particular high school. And then you go to your cards and says, okay. And where did you work 5 years ago? Everything seems to be disconnected. And this is what people consider to be a good interview. But if somebody says, I came from a little town in Georgia, and Larry King would ask this question, he would springboard from, what is it like living in a small town in Georgia? And that person would go on and talk about that. And the conversation would take off from there. What are you doing? You are learning about this person. And then you sit back and let them talk. Don't interrupt them to tell your story, because they will stop talking and ask you, who are you? Where does your story come from? And if they don't ask you, where's your story coming from, guess what? You don't need to be with that person very long, Because if all they are is interested in their own voice, that's not the person you want to be with. You want somebody to be interested in your voice. Now we go to number 5. Number 5, I said I was going to talk about love. Love. Falling in love. Look, I know sometimes you hear that little knock that I had. You hear it. If you ever listen to this show, you might hear a little knock that says click, 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 click. What they're saying is, I got to go to a break. But don't you go nowhere, because I'm getting ready to talk about falling in love. I'll be right back. Take a moment. I wanted to break right here. Take a moment, because how you give, what you give. We're in a month of sharing. Thanksgiving, Christmas, during times like this, a month of sharing. Take a moment and break some bread with us and share with us, so that we can get what we're saying, this message out. Because there's a lot of crazy doctrines out there, and a lot of people who think they're theologians, and there's some shortcomings there. I want you to take a moment and go, and you can text to give 713-742-2035, 713-742-2035. And whether it's $7, $8, $9, share whatever you have. It will make a total difference in us doing what we do. So I just wanted to take a quick break and share that with you. Let me get back to my story here. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hit that subscribe button, smash it, crash it. Let us know you're there.